Today, you're going to learn how to create an Alexander Calder inspired sculpture. All you're going to need is paper, a scissor, and a marker. This is what it's going to look like at the end, but let's talk about how we make it. First of all, the paper. If you have thick paper, that is ideal. If you have construction paper, that's great. Even if you have computer paper, that'll do. The thicker, the better. Let's say you don't have any of that stuff. I gave you a folder, which is made of very thick paper. You can cut your folder apart and use this section right here for your project and just store your artwork supplies in a different spot. So there's an option for you right there. You're also going to need a scissor and a pencil. I'm going to use a marker so you can clearly see what I'm doing. First things first, we have to fold the paper like we're closing a book. So take the paper, put it horizontal, and fold it over like you're making a birthday card or a book. And give it a little crease. Now it's really important that you keep it in the same direction as mine. Notice that the opening is over here and the crease is over here. Next, we're going to draw stuff that looks like a rainbow. And we're going to draw it almost to the edge, but not quite. You'll understand why in a second. We're going to start our line at the bottom, not at the side, the bottom. So if you want to be sure, put your finger right here. This is where we're going to begin. You're going to take your pencil and draw a line that goes up and over, and it gets almost to the edge, but then it stops. So see, I left a little tiny space. I didn't go all the way to the side. That's what you want to do too. We're going to draw 4 of these lines. So I'm going to draw another one that goes up, over, almost to the edge, but then I'm going to stop. And I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to go up and over, and I'm going to stop. And finally, one last one here. So there should be a little space between the lines and the crease of the paper. All of your other lines should be starting down here, and the paper should be opening like so. Now, you're going to need your scissor. And we're only going to cut on the lines. So I'm folding the paper shut. So I'm cutting through both sides at once, and I'm going to cut up that line. So cutting this part's pretty easy. When we get here, you got to cut close, but not all the way through. See, it's still attached. That's your goal. So let's do it again. Okay. Ta-da! Now, when we open it up, we already can kind of see the sculpture coming together, but it balances, it's okay. It doesn't really have that much interesting appeal to it yet. So we have to do some folding to make this look super cool. So first I'm going to kind of flatten it out so I can see both sides of my artwork. And then I'm going to fold over every other piece. So here's what I mean. I'm going to take this slice over here. I'm going to bring it over and fold it this way. Okay. Now I'm going to grab the slice under that. So I see I went down by 1. I'm grabbing this piece right here, and I'm going to fold it over this way. Now I'm going to look at the piece that's under that. That would be this one. So they're basically pairing up. You're having them match with the piece across from it. So this piece down here, it wants to match up with this piece. And they're not going to line up perfectly. That's totally fine. Don't worry about them like making a perfect match. You just want the same one on each side. And then down here, we're going to move this piece over like that. Okay, now we can start playing around and trying to make it stand up. And this is part of the challenge of the project. It's something that Alexander Calder had to do with his work, was finding the exact balance he needed to make his sculptures move or stand up on their own. So see, I'm kind of pushing out these little legs of paper so that it stands up properly. And if you need to move things in a new way, go for it. But you want to kind of manipulate these so that they are standing up on their own. Aha, we did it. Awesome. So there you have one of your sculptures. Just made from an ordinary piece of paper, we've made this really cool piece of art. Do your best to stand it up and photograph it. If the paper's a lot thinner It's still possible, it just won't be as sturdy. So do your best. And I can't wait to see what you do.